Welcome back to the Axe Life Podcast. My name is Josh.
Steven.
Angie.
And today we are going to do a 161 pounds of ice challenge. And for every minute that I stay in the ice, we'll rack up 2% off and be a promo code towards the end of the video. During the Ice Bass Challenge, we're going to be interviewing with Steven and Angie. They're new axe throwers, and we're just going to talk about building a backyard target at home kind of deal. And currently we are sitting at 38.8 degrees. And I don't want to do this, but it's for y'all. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Oh!
Alright, so Steven, have you ever thrown an axe before today?
Today's my first time.
How'd you like building the target?
Went together pretty easy. Wood was nice and soft. And it sticks nice and well.
Did you find it difficult to throw axes for the first time?
The first 5 or so, but then I got a hang of it.
Figuring out the technique and everything?
Yep.
Angie, I see you're strutting the bad axe
I have.
shirt.
I did go to Bad Axe at one point. I was bartending in Atlanta, and I got the privilege to go with a group of female bartenders, and we had a blast. But this is so much different, and I really enjoyed learning.
Now, as the viewers will learn, you have a little bit of a disadvantage or difficulty throwing.
I do have a disability. I'm completely blind in my right eye, and I have a blind spot pretty much south central in my left eye. So that's presented a bit of a challenge, especially being in the yard and having an at-home target, but it's made it even more fun, I think.
Now, do you think the depth perception makes it a little bit harder to throw, or is it something that you can overcome with the technique?
I think that's a really good question. I definitely know for sure that it can be overcome, because I don't have any depth perception, almost 0%, and I've been able to hit the target. So
Okay.
and I've really enjoyed it. It makes me feel strong.
I have no idea what to say next because I'm freezing. So
Does it hurt?
I'm in so much pain right now, and it's all for the promo code.
I got leg skill.
I am in
He doesn't have legs anymore.
I can't feel my feet right now. Where's the temperature sitting at? Like, it adjusted with my bless you, body temperature.
40.3.
40.3, and we're currently 2 minutes and 20 seconds in, and we got to build this up. So we
4%.
need to figure out. Okay, so getting a little bit better, but still. So as we'll demonstrate after this section of the video, we'll show the makeshift target. We used a lot of recycled material because you as never thrown axes before, and you've only doing it the once. You weren't sure if you wanted to invest into getting all the supplies and doing it.
Definitely.
So, do you think with building this backyard target, you feel more comfortable like getting the supplies and getting everything set up and making it more of a permanent structure for sporting?
Oh yeah, definitely. Way easier.
Okay.
Much quicker to set up than I imagined.
And especially because we're so far away from going to any kind of range or place that we could do it, with an expert or with somebody that can help us. It's nice to be able to have it in our own yard where we can just do it as opposed to having to drive so far.
Well, I think that's a good point. Like, I do think there's a lot of places where the experts just give you a lane, give you an axe, and say, don't kill yourself, there's the board, have fun. Where Broad Axe, we try to do the opposite, where it's like, if you just want to throw and see what sticks, have fun. But if you want to learn technique and learn how to throw and, score and make games and be competitive or compete in league or join our monthly membership or something like that. So do you think it was easier having me as an expert to kind of help tweak the little things here and there?
Oh my gosh, it was it's so different from doing it on a lane and on a flat surface than doing it at home. And so it was incredibly helpful to have you there, and especially when seeing both of us wanting to actually hit the board and do, trick throws and stuff. It was great to have you able to kind of guide us through that and to see it, the follow through.
Well, and I will say, like, you guys were picking up the trick shots pretty easy, and here we're at a sloped surface. We didn't measure the lane. We're just kind of eyeballing it based off my experience / their throwing, if it's over or under rotating. So definitely, like, if you go to an actual venue, you'll have a lot more fun and success doing it. Because I know for Broad Axe, we have a couple of our staff that know a pretty big laundry list of trick shots and how to teach them.
Does the newer wood, do the axes stick better in those?
So there's a little bit of a sweet spot, like when it's very new, we mixed it with water and it's still a little dense. So with traditional house axes, it'll be a little bit harder, but with that Queen of Hearts that I have, it'll be a little bit easier because the blades are a little bit thinner. But the A365 has enough weight and rotation that it pretty much will bite on anything. It doesn't care. It doesn't discriminate. But then you'll find, like, especially with these being recycled boards, they're not going to last as long, because this is just a temporary setup, that once they start getting a little too gummy, the axe will hit it and just start taking chunks out, so it's harder for it to bite in on an uneven surface, so it'll rotate easier.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you freezing? How many minutes have you?
Oh. But yeah, like, once you get a good, 5-10 throws, you'll kind of be able to read the wood and see if you need to adjust your pressure.
It almost feels like I'd like to say that it's almost comparable to like throwing darts in like a much bigger scale. It feels like
Finding
your sweet spot, or even bowling, like where you just have to like find your little groove of exactly where to hold and what to do. And
I think that's a good point, because everybody throws a little bit different, like wide elbow, narrow, pointing it at the board or whatever. You got to find what works for you. So one of my coworkers, AJ, me and him throw completely different. So if somebody's not sticking, a trick shot or a normal shot with one of our techniques, we'll either revert to the other way and say, hey man, can you come, tweak this up? Like, this is more your style. But I like how you brought up darts, because I don't know if I told you guys, but we actually created dagger darts. We use just under 15-inch throwing knives. We stencil a dartboard to that size target. And then we actually have the stencils for sale, and then that way venues can adopt it and add it to their menu of services. And it's also a great way to use wood that's a little warped or over dried or anything like that, so you're not wasting as much wood.
I love that.
And then you can kind of pass that savings on to the customer.
I love that. And what a fun thing that y'all have, like so many different things. You can have a drink, you can do the knife throwing, you can do the axe throwing. I think that's really great to have so many different ways to kind of express yourself and express your emotions.
Yep. It's the cheapest therapy in town.
And
it's a family thing, because we allow 10 and up.
I love that.
So a lot of people bring their kids, their grandparents, and it's just a multi-generational
Just
party.
a few years from now, I'll be bringing my nephew. I cannot wait.
Oh, bring them by. We'll make sure to hook you all up and have a great time. Like,
he loves nothing more than to see his dad outside, with the lawnmower, with the axe. He wants to be so part of it. So I love that.
You looking forward to your turn?
No. I'm looking forward to the sauna.
Oh yeah, that sauna's gonna be amazing. Oh,
You think you're gonna make it to 10?
I want 15. I want to give people 30% off, but I'm suffering for y'all. I just want you to know this. Like, I'm trying to conduct an interview in this state, and it's very hard to think.
Quit moving around so much. You're up to 41 points.
I'm cheating. Oh,
We should just put some salt in here and make it even colder.
Yeah, we did that once.
I think it was the last time you were here, actually.
I don't remember if it was last time.
We need to do it.
Or at least we talked about it, I think.
Oh,
I don't remember if we actually. It just looks cold.
oh.
Nope.
Trying to think what else to talk about.
I want to know exactly because I wasn't out here when y'all were putting up the target.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know exactly what y'all were doing.
So
Were the targets already drawn there, or
yeah, those are basically what we would call scrap wood. When a board's done, we put the wood out back and we allow it to be taken for free as firewood.
okay?
So I just kind of held on to
10 minutes.
a couple boards, and then that's why a couple of them are different because there's a couple different games. There's the World Axe Throwing League, the Waddle game, and then there's the Coda game, which was developed by Vinny, who owns and operates Broadaxe. He's a veteran.
Okay, I love that.
And-
So are both of these guys.
Exactly. You know, it's veteran ran, managed
I love
business.
that.
So obviously the targets didn't line up, quite nicely, but we didn't really care about it for scoring. It was more the exposure of the sport.
Will
yeah.
it stick?
Yeah, we just want to know if it's gonna see.
Like I
So-
did bring marker and stencil, so that way, if you guys like this and you end up building a more permanent structure,
I have some glitter glue.
you could use glitter glue.
Um,
So basically, we just laid a board down, put some crossboards for support, and then drilled the boards in to those crossboards, leaned it up against a tree. That way, we didn't damage the tree, and then we just leaned some angled legs, kind of in line with the tree. Drilled those into the target just to give a little bit of stability, and that way, whenever it's done, you just rip the screws out, and you got your firewood. And you can have a nice little campfire at night. Warm up from all this ice.
so I know you were in the Air Force for a long time, right?
10 years.
10 years.
Yep.
So after you got out, so now you've been throwing axes for.
Since January, so just a couple months.
I love that, but you really, I can really tell that you really have a love for it, and
It's an amazing sport.
yeah, I can see that you really like it, and we really have enjoyed it too, and we've been really looking forward to this. So
I got
We
the
really
underhand
appreciate
on
you.
the stick.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Call that the pirate arm yarg, because if you say yarg when you do it, you have a higher chance of hitting.
So while you were in the Air Force and you lived, I know that you lived in Turkey and in Japan.
In Japan, yep.
So did they have anything like axe throwing in those two countries?
Not that I was aware of. I actually never threw axes until I interviewed for this position.
Oh, amazing!
So
I didn't realize
It
that.
was brand new to me.
By
Now,
the looks of you two, you guys have been throwing axes since you.
everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that. They're like, of course the Vikings going to do good. So
these guys came out of the womb with beards.
Well, and that's actually an interesting thing that you bring up, though. Like, throughout the world, there's not a lot of axe throwing simply because it's kind of hard to find, like, soft woods, and it's expensive to get into. But that's where dagger darts kind of comes in. It's like the UK has a lot of hardwood, and they're a huge fan of darts. So, we can expand out into other regions and kind of bring a new sport to the limelight.
It's like darts times 1,000.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of darts. Like, nothing against the sport.
I
It's
love
fun, but
It is fun.
when you do it with a 15-inch dagger, like
It's what, yeah, dart seems like child's play, for sure. I love that.
Almost.
I'm totally down to do that. How many minutes are we at?
13, 20.
13, 20. All right, pal. What else?
I'm suffering.
I'm trying to. Okay, so what else about? It's called Broadaxe, right?
Broadaxe Throwing in Augusta, Georgia. It's in downtown, right on Broad Street.
And you were telling me earlier that you guys are known as like the mead
Yep.
people.
So we started selling beer and wine, and obviously soda and things like that. And it's actually an interesting story where a lot of businesses kind of suffered with the pandemic. Broadaxe kind of did the opposite because It started off as escape rooms, and then they
Oh.
added an axe throwing room. And then once the pandemic hit, it's like, well, there's social distancing. We can't charge, 2 people for an 8-person room. And then with social distancing, you can't put strangers in a room. So Vinny was kind of, what do we do?
And he's the owner.
He's the owner, yep. So he actually decided why everything was on lockdown. He tore down everything inside the building, built up 8 lanes, so we have 16 targets, and kind of repurposed it. And then I think it was 2020 or 2021, it went full axe throwing, and now we host events. We just had I won't say who, but a cell phone carrier company did a private party there with like 75 people. We have birthday parties. We have private events.
15 minutes.
15 minutes? Okay. So that's 2% off for each minute, and it's been 15 minutes.
So 30% off.
So 30% off. I'm going to wait another 14 seconds, and I'm going to round up to 35% off if you use the promo code BRRR, B-R-R-R, because it's burrin' cold.
2X, one time, BRRR for the promo code. Book Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday online for 35% off.
Keep that. First. Nope. Keep that arm. There you go. You want it vertical. All right. Go.
Unwind the back.